Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to collect and cook snails. Now these really don't get the attention they need out there in the survival community, but if you're foraging, this is definitely not a meal you want to pass up. This is what we're looking for, Huck. Right here. Go find snails. Go get them. Now it is the middle of winter out here in South Texas, and though it doesn't seem like it's very cold, which it's not, this is the first week of February. It can get a little chilly at nighttime, but especially underneath these cliff faces, nice and protected. You can tell the clover's coming up, it's all beautiful and green. The snails are pretty much always running when conditions are like this. So every once in a while, you'll come across them and they'll light up. When you're foraging, you're not just looking for the creatures that are out and about. You'll be checking under logs, under rocks, because underneath these protected areas, you'll often find the creatures that you're looking for. Now we found 5 snails that we're going to be cooking up here in a bit. Before we get to our cooking area and start up our fire, I'm going to go ahead and pull a few pieces of green mesquite that we'll make into tongs and a skewer. You're going to want to wash off your snails before you start cooking them. Get as much of that slime off as you can. But understand, with snails, there's almost always more slime. Home sweet home. Collect a little bit of firewood, and then we'll get to cooking. Take a look at this. Now, even if you're out doing chores, especially collecting firewood, you'll come across some pretty awesome stuff as long as you keep your eyes open. Now this is a shed from a white-tailed deer, probably from this last year, as it's right here in the middle of the trail. But you can do a lot with an antler, especially a pretty one like this. So do your chores, keep your eyes open, you never know what you're going to find. Now the wood that we're after, the stuff we want to collect in order to cook with, is going to be mesquite. Give it a couple years of being dead, decay, and what you're going to be left with is heartwood. Stuff is extremely dense. It's about as strong as steel. Burns for a long time, burns very hot, and if you're a barbecuer, you know that this stuff is amazing. So this piece is way too big. We'd have to have tools in order to break it down, but look around a little bit longer, you'll find what you need. This is what we're looking for right here. These beautiful pieces of distinct, dense mesquite wood. Now, just to give you an illustration of the difference in density, this is mesquite. It's probably been dead for 10, 15 years. This is hackberry, maybe a year, maybe 2. Very light, very heavy, but one of them shatters, the other one's almost unbreakable. Big difference. we wait for our fire to burn down into coals, go ahead and see if I can't make some tongs out of this mesquite. And a spit. Well, our fire's burnt down, our coals are still extremely hot, which means we're just about ready to start cooking. Now, on the topic of humanely dispatching your snails, I really don't have a good option in this. If you do your research and look at the methods out there, most of them can be described as torture, from putting salt all over them and leaving them in containers for hours and hours to die, to rinsing them dozens of times, drowning them, trying to get rid of that slime. There's just not a really good way to do this. Now, what we're going to be doing is placing these snails in the most intense portion of that heat, which means that any neurons that are firing off will cease almost immediately. They're small creatures, that's a lot of heat. This is the best method I've come up with. If you've got a better idea, I'd love to hear it. You'll notice the direction that I oriented these snails. They're all foot up. You're going to be cooking them over these hot coals, just like this, until they stop bubbling. As each snail finishes cooking, go ahead and remove it from heat. Snails are off. Time to stoke our fire back up. Now, we're not done cooking these snails yet. We're going to go ahead and pull the meat, the snail itself, out of the shell. You can sometimes pry it out. What I often do is just break the shell and separate it from the meat, and it's on to the next step. Once your snails are free of the shell, clean them up as best you can. I'm going to go ahead and put them on our spit, our skewer. Now, once they're on there, we're going to be cleaning them one more time. There is a bit of slime on them. And then we're going to be cooking them over the flames once more. And we're doing this because snails have a lot of parasites. especially the wild snails. So you want to bring that up to a full cook. You don't want to chance it. If you are surviving off of snails, you need to remember that you have enough calories, enough fat reserves inside of your body, usually to keep you alive for upwards of a month. Now you can slowly starve, or you can get a parasite or eat something toxic and kill yourself really fast. So don't panic. Be safe. They're all rinsed off. I'm going to go ahead and sear them a bit with some flame. Well, this is going to be the first time that Huck gets to eat a snail, or at least has the opportunity to. So you get the first one, Huck. You want it? Okay. It's good. Okay. I don't know what that says about my cooking at all, or whether I do. So, this is mine, bud. Now these, I would eat all day. A lot of people say they're gritty. Not at all. They taste like calamari. And this is without seasoning at all. A little bit of Tony Chachere's wouldn't go awry. Maybe some Cholula. This is one of my favorite things to eat out here. Now, when we talk about snails, these were garden snails. And they're pretty common out here. They used to not be. But the creeks and rivers bring things in from who knows where. So that we have them now. Now, as you eat these, a lot of people are going to tell you that you need to go ahead and purge them. Go ahead and spend 3 days, put them in a container, feed them foods that aren't toxic, make sure that all the bad things get out of them, and kind of clean out their waste as well. And there's a lot of good advice in that. Whenever you're getting these things around towns, around people, a lot of times folks are poisoning, pesticides, all kinds of things that are out and around our habitations. And because of that, if you're ingesting animals that have eaten poisons, you yourself are most likely going to be poisoned as well. So given the 3 days out here, I know what my snails are eating. I know exactly which plants that they can chew on to make sure that they're toxic, and I try and keep away from those. So these are good to go. Be smart, play it safe, overcook them, kill the parasites, purge them if you must, make sure the toxins are out, but definitely enjoy your snails. Well guys, hopefully you've learned a few things when it comes to cooking and eating snails. Please like, subscribe, tell me what you think about this in the comment section down below. Share the heck out of this video, and as always, until next time, bon appetit. For those of you wondering if my wife actually eats some of the stuff that we cook out here, well, this one's for you.
Those are pretty yummy.
She's been out here way too long.